Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Crybaby May. Hey, how are you guys doing today? Comment down below how you're doing. I would love to know. So today's video, I will just be painting and kind of talking a little bit about fear, because fear is something that has held me back from doing a lot of things in my life. So with all that being said, let's get started. So before I even start talking about fear, I just want to send positive energy, love, and good vibes to everybody who's listening to this and watching me create this beautiful piece of art. Getting into it, I feel like with fear, for me personally, I feel like for me, overcoming fear has been a journey that I've actually went through this past year. I've been working on pushing my limits, especially when it comes to fear and things that I'm afraid of doing, things that I know that I want to do, but I'm just too afraid of it for different reasons. So for me, fear is something that has been kind of ingrained in me from a very young age. I grew up Nigerian. My parents are Nigerian immigrants, and growing up in America, the fact that they're even here, a lot of people who come from another country to this country there's a lot of fear involved when it comes to surviving and living in this country in America. And I feel like that's something that was instilled in me from a very young age. Even like in the community, I would hear a lot of people say, oh, you have to fear your parents, or you have to fear God. And it's a cultural thing in the sense of respect. In my culture, sometimes equal fearing and being afraid of someone shows the amount of respect that you have. And when you look at it in our society, like our generation, a lot of us are pushing a lot of boundaries when it comes to overcoming fear and dismantling structures that have existed for so long due to our collective fear of creating another world, a better world. I feel like fear is something that Gen Zs are literally dismantling, like the concept of being able to fully be who you are unapologetically, and breaking down barriers that has been there for a long time, but yet fear is still a prominent part of our society. And I feel like understanding that when we are afraid, it's not just you, it's literally subconscious messages throughout your life telling you to be afraid. And I feel like a lot of people just say, don't be afraid, just do it, but it's really hard to overcome fear. It's really hard, especially for me personally. Fear comes into play mostly when I have to make decisions. And the decisions that my parents made, it has set me up to think in a certain way where it's like I have to be clear of my choices and the results of the choices before I can make that decision. And that's where fear comes in the sense of when you're not exactly 100% sure what the outcome is, then fear starts to creep in. You start making different scenarios of what could happen or what couldn't happen, and that keeps you from making the decision, or it extends the time that you take to make a decision. When it comes to overcoming fear and decision making, intuition is very important. And I feel like when we talk about fear, we also have to talk about intuition, because everyone has intuition. No matter how fogged up your thoughts or your emotions are, you still have that inkling, that sense of what is right and what is wrong, that higher knowing. If you really tap into it, that knowing that's in the background, but all your thoughts and emotion are kind of like in the way, so it's kind of hard to see what's really going on. And some people call that your higher self, some people call that conscience, I think that's how it's said. Some people call it your conscious, some people call it the voice of God. I think that intuition is very important when we talk about fear, because fear has to do with thoughts and emotions, and your thoughts triggering negative emotions where it makes things unclear. For example, if you're picking out an outfit and you want to decide what color bag fits the outfit better, you can literally try on all your purses and all your bags and physically see which one looks better. But when it comes to your thoughts and emotions, sometimes that's really hard. Sometimes seeing exactly what things are gonna look like is not possible. And unless you tap into the intuition, unless you are able to sit back and kind of just let the emotions and let the thoughts kind of just like do their thing and fade away, and really see what's in the background, really let yourself feel what the truth is, then you can really make those decisions. But this can be a very hard thing to see. Intuition can be very hard to detect when you are afraid, and when you haven't really pinpoint what is keeping you afraid, when you haven't really pinpoint or understand where your fear is coming from, when you haven't really thought about what is holding you back. For me personally, I'm the type of person where I create like many different scenarios in my head, and a lot of those scenarios have to do with uncertainty and something not ending the way I want it to end. But the thing about fear is it relates to uncertainty. Fear and uncertainty are kind of like sister, because of uncertainty, fear can come up. When you create different scenarios in your head, it kind of confirms the universal truth that nothing is certain, nothing will be known. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So when you create different scenarios in your head, you're just solidifying the fact that you don't know what's going to happen, and you might never know. And I feel like when it comes to overcoming fear, it's important to understand that uncertainty is the only reality of being a human. There is no certain thing that happens. You cannot plan tomorrow. You can try and plan it, but it might not go exactly how you plan. Things happen, life happens. And once you can really come to terms with uncertainty and allow yourself to, I'm not saying don't be afraid or don't feel your fear. Allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, but also understand that fear comes from uncertainty, but it doesn't have to. Accepting that uncertainty is just a part of life, and seeing that kind of helps you not be afraid of it. When we see uncertainty and we try to change it and we try to create solidified stories in our head of what the future holds, then fear can really marinate because we're not allowing things to be. And I feel like once I accepted that nothing can really be 100% planned, like nothing can really 100% go exactly the way you plan it. Things align with what you plan or what you desire, but it's not gonna go exactly how you thought of it, because life happens and you can't control what happens in life. And I feel like once we loosen our grip on life and allow things to flow, then fear starts to fade. But once we hold on to life really tight and try to create desired outcomes, fear can really manifest in different ways. It can really take over. Going back to intuition, when you understand that things are uncertain and you can only do your best, it's easier to really sense that higher self, that intuition, that voice in your head that's leading you, that's guiding you. That's kind of like a compass. Like when you have a compass, it literally guides you. If you're trying to go north, it tells you where north is. Once you start to go in the direction that the compass is telling you, then you actually start to see what's there while you're following that path, while you're following that direction. When you actually get there and see it, it might not align with what you saw in your head. And I feel like that is the point of like overcoming fear, is loosening the grip on life, loosening up the ideas of what things are going to end up being like, or the outcome of things, and really just see as you go and let that inner compass guide you. And I feel like the more that I've been tapping into my intuition, the more I've been happy with the choices that I've made, and the more I've been able to ignore my anxieties and my fears, and the more happy that I am. I'm ultimately having these talks on my YouTube channel for myself to look back on when I need a reminder on overcoming different things in my life, and I hope it can do the same for you. So thank you for listening. Okay guys, so I'm not done with the painting. I still need to, add some finishing touches to it, but this was the idea that I have. Not exactly, I wasn't planning on putting yellow, but I thought yellow balanced out the colors more. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoy these types of videos and I will make more. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, Crybaby May wants to see you next time. Bye.